Welcome to the Beyond Show, the place where history comes to life. Again, I'm your host, Tom Echo, and today we are honored to speak with a woman whose compassion changed the world. She walked among the poorest of the poor, yet was honored by kings. She owned nothing, yet gave everything. She was called a saint, but she called herself simply a servant. A woman of quiet strength, relentless love, and unwavering purpose. Today, we step beyond the image and meet the woman behind the legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, Mother Teresa.
Ah, my child, you speak with such kindness, but I was only a small pencil in the hand of God, writing His love where it was most needed.
Mother Teresa, you are known for your unshakable faith, but your private letters revealed something few expected. You experienced decades of spiritual darkness, where you felt distant from God. That would shake most people to their core. How did you continue serving when you felt so alone?
Faith is not about feeling, my child. It is about choosing. Even when I could not feel God, I knew He was there, just as the sun still exists behind the clouds. My heart ached in the emptiness, but love is not measured by emotion. It is measured by action. So, I continued.
That's incredibly powerful. Choosing faith, even without feeling it. That's a level of commitment most of us can't imagine. But let me ask you, did you ever question if the suffering you witnessed was part of God's plan?
No, suffering is not God's plan. It should not exist. But in a world of free will, it does. God does not will suffering. He calls us to respond to it. I did not ask, why does suffering exist? But what can I do to bring love into it?
That's a perspective shift. Most of us see suffering and feel powerless, but you saw it and immediately asked what you could do. That takes a rare kind of strength. You dedicated your life to serving the poorest of the poor. But was there ever a personal dream or desire you had to sacrifice?
Once, long ago, I dreamed of being a teacher in a quiet convent school. But God's voice called me to the streets, and how could I refuse Him? The greatest dream is the one that brings love to others.
If you had lived another life without religious vows, what do you think you would have been?
I think I still would have served, but in another way. Perhaps as a nurse or a simple mother feeding her children. Love is not bound by vocation, only by the willingness of the heart.
That's an interesting take. You're saying it's not about what you do, but how you do it.
Exactly. Love is a choice, and every life offers a way to choose it.
Some critics argue suffering should always be prevented, not endured. How do you reconcile your belief that suffering brings people closer to God with modern humanitarian views?
We must ease suffering when we can, always. But suffering is not only of the body, it is of the heart. The greatest poverty is being unloved. If suffering comes, we must face it with love, not let it make us bitter.
If you had the chance to change just one thing about how the world sees poverty, what would it be?
That poverty is not just hunger for bread, it is hunger for love. People think poverty is only in the slums, but I have seen it in grand homes where no one smiles, no one touches. That is the deepest poverty.
Mother Teresa, some people say that charity should not just alleviate suffering, but solve its root causes. Did you ever struggle with the feeling that your work was only a temporary solution?
No, because love is never temporary. If a man is dying, do I wait to change the system before I hold his hand? No, I love him in that moment. And change begins with love. When you love, you inspire others to act.
So, you believe action in the moment creates a ripple effect? That even a small kindness can lead to something greater?
Love is not measured in size, only in sincerity.
Looking back at your life's work, is there anything you would have done differently?
Perhaps I would have smiled more. Even in suffering, joy is possible. I would have wanted to remind people more often that joy is not found in what we lack, but in what we give.
That's a beautiful reminder. Now, your name is a symbol of kindness, but do you think people truly understand who you were? What did they get wrong about you?
They think I was extraordinary. I was not. I was small, weak, filled with doubts. But I chose love, again and again. That is all any of us can do.
That might be the most extraordinary thing of all, choosing love despite doubt. You worked with popes, presidents, and world leaders. Did you ever feel that power and politics contradicted the purity of your mission?
Politics is a game of power. Love is the power of service. I never sought to change the powerful. I only asked them, "What will you do for the least among us?"
And did they listen?
Some did, some did not. But love does not wait for permission to act.
If you could see today's world, what would shock or disappoint you the most?
That people have more things but feel more empty. That they can reach across the world in seconds but feel lonelier than ever. Love is missing.
That hits home. Do you think social media and technology could have helped your mission?
Technology can spread love, but love itself must always be personal. You cannot feed a starving man with a tweet. You must go to him, hold his hand, and give him bread.
So interesting. If I gave you a smartphone right now, what's the first app of the existing ones you'd install first?
Ah, my child, I do not know much about these apps. Perhaps WhatsApp, to tell my sisters around the world, do not waste time on the phone. Go, find someone to love today.
You'd be the first person using a smartphone to tell people not to use a smartphone. If you were here today, would you lead your mission in the same way, or would you adapt?
Love does not change with time. I would go where the suffering is, as I always did. Whether it is in the slums or behind a screen, I would find the forgotten ones.
Let's switch gears for a moment. You always wore the same simple white and blue sari. If you had to pick one completely different outfit for a day, what would it be?
Ah, maybe a warm sweater. The nights in Calcutta were colder than you think.
Did you ever have a cheat day? A moment of indulgence just for yourself?
Once, a child gave me a piece of chocolate. I had not tasted chocolate in years. I ate it slowly, savoring each bite. Love is in small things.
What was the last thing that made you laugh so hard you cried?
Oh, the sisters would tease me about how short I was. They said I needed a ladder just to bless the tallest of them.
That is funny indeed. You don't look that short to me. Okay, let's be real for a second. Be honest. Did you ever get annoyed with someone but had to smile through it?
Many times, my child. Love is patient, but I am still human.
I knew it. Even saints have their moments. You were all about small acts of love, but if you had the power to make one big instant change in the world, what would it be?
That no one should die alone, unloved.
That's a wish worth fighting for. How did you see the call of God? Was it in a dream, as a voice, as a vision? How did you understand that this was it?
It was not a dream, nor a vision of fire and light. No, my child, it was something quieter but more powerful. I was on a train to Darjeeling, traveling for my annual retreat, when it came. A call within the call. It was a certainty in my heart, a deep, unmistakable knowing, as if God Himself had placed it there. He asked me to leave everything behind, to go into the streets, to serve the poorest of the poor, to be His love among them. There was no doubt, no question, no fear, only love. And when God calls in love, there is only one answer: yes.
That is absolutely beautiful. Mother Teresa, you met so many influential people, from popes to presidents to royalty. Was there one famous person who truly surprised or inspired you?
One person who truly surprised me was Princess Diana. The world saw her beauty, her fame, but I saw her heart. She did not just shake hands with the sick, she held them. She did not just smile for the cameras, she truly cared. When she came to visit me, she sat on the floor, as if she were one of us. That is humility. That is love.
Two extraordinary women who understood that love is action. And what do you think about modern people?
They are searching for meaning, for connection. They do not realize the answer has always been love.
So simple, yet so easy to forget. What advice would you give them today?
Do not wait for greatness. Do small things with great love. That is enough.
That's going on my wall. If this conversation moved you, share this podcast with those who might need to hear it. Let's continue Mother Teresa's legacy, not just in words, but in action. Until next time, stay kind, stay giving, and don't forget, all you need is love.